Has there been thoughts of whether you'd be able to fight again?
I'm just thinking about my health at the minute, to be honest. I'm not even thinking about any of that stuff, because you got to like take one step at a time, don't you?
Yeah.
You can't be doing that. Obviously, the plan is to go back and beat the living daylights out of Ciryl Gane. That's the plan. But right now, the short-term plan is to get back to where I should be, get back in the gym.
UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall has just dropped a massive bombshell message directed at Ciryl Gane. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. The British champion is recovering from one of the most brutal eye injuries we've seen in the octagon. But his latest statement shows he's far from done with bon gamin. Aspinall made it crystal clear. The main plan is to go back and beat Ciryl Gane badly. But for now, the short-term goal is to recover properly and get myself back in shape so I can return to the gym.
Haters are gonna hate. I'm just thinking about my health at the minute, to be honest. I'm not even thinking about any of that stuff, because you got to like take one step at a time, don't you? Plan is to go back and beat the living daylights out of Ciryl Gane. That's the plan.
Now, over 2 months later, we're learning just how serious this injury really was, and Aspinall is making it clear he's coming back for revenge. Let's talk about what Tom Aspinall is actually dealing with here, because this isn't just a case of watery eyes and blurred vision that clears up in a few days. Think about that for a second. Aspinall has been living with constant double vision since that night in Abu Dhabi. As he described it, "I'm not blind, but yeah, just double vision mainly. I just can't see properly."
I know that. I know you can see me.
I'm not going full Stevie Wonder, mate. I think my eyes fully poked out, but yeah, just double vision, mainly.
This requires not one, but 2 separate surgeries. In his latest YouTube update, Aspinall confirmed, "By the time this is going out, I'll probably have had surgery on one side already. The next surgery is in mid-January. We're working towards getting back, and that's the plan."
Just my relationship with everything, and I feel good that I've learned so much. And sometimes you have to go through a bit of adversity to learn stuff, not only about career but about life.
Yeah.
And I feel pretty good about it.
The recovery from surgical correction can take several months, meaning Aspinall likely won't return to full training until spring 2026 at the earliest. But despite all of this, his focus remains laser sharp on one thing: getting payback on Ciryl Gane. Now let's get to what you all clicked on this video for: Tom Aspinall's bombshell message to Ciryl Gane. In a recent interview with Adam Catterall, Aspinall didn't hold back. When asked if he's thought about whether he'd be able to fight again, Tom made his intentions crystal clear. Obviously, the plan is to go back and beat the living daylights out of Ciryl Gane. That's the plan. But right now, the short-term plan is to get back to where I should be and get back in the gym.
Can't be doing that. Obviously, the plan is to go back and beat the living daylights out of Ciryl Gane. That's the plan. But right now, the short-term plan is to get back to where I should be, get back in the gym.
But it gets even more intense. Aspinall has watched the fight footage back multiple times, and his perspective has completely changed. He stated, "The guy was trying to poke my eyes out all the way through that round. Multiple exchanges. Nearly every exchange I could have put him in danger. He had his fingers out, pointing towards my eyes."
The guy was trying to poke my eyes out all the way through that round. Multiple exchanges. Nearly every exchange that I could put him in danger. He had his fingers out pointing towards my eyes.
Aspinall went even further, accusing Gane of intentional cheating. "The guy was cheating from the first second. The way that he wanted to win that fight was to have me compromised by cheating."
The guy was cheating from the first second, and the way that he wanted to win that fight was to have me compromised by cheating.
When the interviewer asked if he thought Gane did it on purpose, Aspinall's response was chilling. "I've never accidentally done something in a fight. I don't see how you can really, so I will leave it at that."
I've never accidentally done something in a fight. I don't see how you can, really. So I will leave it at that.
That's not just trash talk. That's a serious accusation from the heavyweight champion. And the anger is real. Aspinall admitted, "Yeah, I'm pretty angry, mate. Yeah, I'm pretty angry about it." The anger is mainly towards Ciryl.
Yeah, I'm pretty angry, mate.
Where is it towards? Is it Ciryl? Is it to the sport?
Being without your vision, that's pretty scary. The plan is to go back and beat living daylights out of Ciryl Gane. That's the plan.
Here's where things get really interesting. Instead of receiving sympathy and support, Tom Aspinall faced an absolute storm of criticism online, and even from some people he considered friends. Aspinall opened up about how this experience has changed his perspective. People turn on you really quick, you know. You always hear about it. People may start getting jealous and want to drag you down when you get to the top.
Well, people turn on you really quick, you know. And you always hear it, don't you? Like people like start, you know, maybe getting jealous and want to drag you down when you get to the top. I never really experienced that, to be honest.
But the most shocking revelation, some of his own friends turned on him publicly. Aspinall stated, people will turn their backs on you quickly and give their opinions publicly, even if they're your friends. Maybe the fact is that they're not your friend. They'll come out and say certain stuff when you have a relationship with them.
But people will turn their back on you quick and give their opinions publicly, even if they're your friend. And you think that maybe the fact is that they're not your friend, and they'll come out and say certain stuff and stuff like that when you have a relationship with them. And I just think it's
Even UFC president Dana White initially seemed to doubt the severity of the injury, saying at the post-fight press conference that Tom didn't want to continue in the fight and there was no damage to the eye. White later clarified his comments, but the damage was done. Aspinall expressed his disappointment. I was very disappointed. Yeah, very disappointed. It didn't help the cause. When asked directly if Gane had reached out to him, Aspinall's response was telling, not that I know of, not that I know of. When pressed on how that made him feel, Aspinall simply said, I'm not bothered.
Think about Dana White saying Tom didn't continue.
Tom didn't want to continue in the fight, so.
And then also, who gives it to eye pokes?
Who gives it?
Well, listen, I didn't continue. I'll tell you why I didn't continue. Because I'm not a dummy. Like, I'm not going to go out there and fight one of the best strikers in the world if I can't see. I know, as an MMA fighter, look, things are going to happen in the fight that compromise you. Go back and watch my fight with Arlovski. The end of the first round, he punched me right in the eyeball.
Final 20 seconds of the first round. Oh! Big right from Arlovski.
For the rest of that fight, I couldn't see him out that eye. That's fine. If you get punched or kicked in the eye, that's fine. But if you get double eye poked in both eyes and you've got no vision because of a foul, why should I carry on so some dummy can look and say, oh yeah, Tom just got knocked out? Because I ain't going to fight if I can't see anything because of a foul.
Aspinall noted the significance of this. If you've caused harm in some way to someone, you would think that there would be, especially with it being a sport, there would be a reach out and say, listen, man, this is the way it was. Didn't mean it. Get well soon. I'll see you next year sometime. But that's not happened.
If you've caused harm in some way to someone in some way, shape or form, you would think that there would be, especially with it being a sport, that there would be a reach out and say, listen, man, this is the way it was. Didn't mean it. Get well soon. I'll see you next year sometime. But that's not happened.
Aspinall has been keeping the UFC updated every step of the way. He confirmed he's been in regular contact with Hunter Campbell, and the organization knows exactly what's going on with his recovery. He ranked this as the #1 mental challenge of his entire UFC journey, even more difficult than his knee reconstruction or the long layoffs he's experienced before. This is sitting right there at the #1 spot, he admitted. But Aspinall has tried to find the silver lining. He reflected, I've learned so much about myself and other people in the last 10 weeks. I've really learned a lot about life, health, relationships, and my relationship with fighting.
Where's this one sitting?
It's right up there, the #1 spot.
I can imagine
Yeah.
that this is the #1 because of the unknown.
Do you know what though, mate? I've learned so much about myself and other people in the last, I think it's been 10 weeks now. I've learned so much about it. And I think I'm in a good spot now mentally, which I wasn't. I definitely wasn't. But I've really learned a lot about everything, about life, health, relationships.
The injury has forced him to confront some hard truths, including discovering who his real friends are and who was just along for the ride during the good times. As difficult as that's been, Aspinall sees it as valuable. It's a great learning experience. I'm nearly 33 years old and I'm learning some good stuff for the future of my life.
But that don't, and that's great learning experience, mate. I'm nearly 33 years old and I'm learning some good stuff for the future of my life, which is great.
One thing that's helped him cope, focusing on what he still has. Aspinall emphasized, I've got a lot of people that love me. I've got an amazing family. I've got a great training situation. I've got a nice house. Everything's amazing, mate. I'm not complaining about nothing.
So what are you now, 36, 37?
Yeah, man. So that's another thing, well, I was 36 when I won the title. My next fight, I'm going to be 37.
Do you feel retirement is close, or is that nowhere near your mind right now?
Oh, It's definitely obvious. I'm going to be 37 on my next fight. Like, you know what I mean? It's definitely, like, I always knew it was going to be close. I think people know. Like, if people expecting me to have another 10 fights, I wish. It was just, yeah, like, that's just not the case.
Alex Volkanovski has just dropped a bombshell message to Dana White ahead of UFC 325 in Sydney, and this could be the announcement that changes everything. The Australian featherweight champion will be defending his title against Diego Lopes on February 1st, 2026. But here's the kicker. This might be the last time we see the great step into the octagon. That's right, Volkanovski has confirmed he'll be fighting in his hometown of Sydney, Australia, and retirement talks are heating up like never before. His coach, Joe Lopez, has also sent a chilling warning to Diego Lopes, and Dana White himself has taken to Twitter to address this massive card. All right, let's start with the official announcement. Dana White confirmed on Thursday during the Kansas City Chiefs versus Dallas Cowboys NFL game halftime that UFC 325 will take place at Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney on January 31st, 2026. That's February 1st Australian time.
1 week later, we have Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. UFC 325 from Sydney, Australia. Volk versus Diego. There's a bunch of other fights on there. I'll tell you later.
The main event, Alexander Volkanovski defended his featherweight title against Diego Lopes in an immediate rematch. Now, this is huge for Australian fight fans because this marks Volkanovski's first fight on home soil since his February 2023 lightweight title challenge against Islam Makhachev at UFC 284. But here's what makes this even more special. Volkanovski has never defended a title in Australia. Let that sink in. Despite being one of the most dominant champions in UFC history with 11 championship fights during the ESPN era, he's never had the chance to defend his belt in front of his home crowd. Now here's where things get emotional, folks. During a recent interview, Volkanovski's longtime coach Joe Lopez dropped some major hints about retirement that have everyone talking. Lopez was asked directly about whether this could be Volkanovski's last fight, and his response was pretty telling. He said, and I quote, "I would have been happy if Alex's last fight was in Miami, you know, and he got it back. But at the end of the day, it's up to Alex to make that decision."
I would have been happy if Alex's last fight was in Miami, you know, and he got it back, you know. But at the end of the day, it's up to Alex to make that decision. He wants to go again. And if he wants to go, I'll be here, you know, and back him up, you know.
He continued, "I'd be happy if he ended at this one, you know, especially on a win."
I'd be happy if he ended at this one, you know, especially on a win.
Volkanovski has been more cagey about retirement, but clearly excited about defending his title in Sydney. He's been training hard and mentioned that this homecoming means everything to him. The 37-year-old champion has had an incredible career, 27 wins, 4 losses, with victories over the who's who of the featherweight division. He's been through wars with Max Holloway 3 times, competed for the lightweight title twice against Islam Makhachev, and came back from losing his belt to Ilia Topuria to reclaim it against Diego Lopes. When Volkanovski fought Lopes at UFC 314 in Miami back in April, he won via unanimous decision in a fight that really wasn't that close. According to Joe Lopez, it was very one-sided, with Lopes only showing promise in the 4th round when Volkanovski was dealing with an eye injury. Both Volkanovski and his team had their sights set on other opponents, specifically Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy. These guys are undefeated contenders, who many believe are more deserving of a title shot. Murphy had been widely rumored as the next challenger, and Volkanovski himself called it a no-brainer.
Counter left there by Volk. Oh, he leaned there. He got caught.
There it is. The round for Lopez.
There it is. Volk doesn't look that hurt.
He got very angry. He got very upset that he got dropped there. I still think he won that round. It's going to be a little bit more.
So what changed? After the Lopez-Lopez fight was announced, the timeline shifted. The fight was originally supposed to happen in December, but when Lopez scored a spectacular knockout victory over Gene Silva at UFC Noche in September, earning a $100,000 bonus, everything changed. There's speculation this has to do with the new Paramount deal and wanting a marketable fight to kick off 2026. Lopez mentioned there have been a lot of negotiations behind the scenes, and while he respects Diego as a dangerous fighter, he's being honest about the situation. But at the end of the day, as both Volkanovski and Lopez have said repeatedly, they'll fight anyone the UFC puts in front of them. Now let's talk about what Joe Lopez said directly about Diego Lopez and this rematch. This is where things get interesting from a fight analysis perspective. Lopez acknowledged that Lopez is very dangerous. Anyone in the top 5 is. But he made it clear they're not taking him lightly, even though they dominated the first fight. He expects both sides to make adjustments, saying, he's going to change a few things, and we're going to change a few things. The biggest advantage Volkanovski has? Intel. They've already spent 5 rounds in there with Lopes. They know his patterns, his tendencies, what works against him. As Lopez said, Diego didn't really change that much. He said he was going to be a little bit more patient, and he's very crafty.
I wanted the bell. Hey, Don Aspinall, I told you, I go for you, you know? You see me today, what me do? I want to break your head like that, like what me doing today.
Congratulations on another win. Your winner, ladies and gentlemen, Waldo Cortez Acosta.
Waldo Cortez Acosta just dropped a massive bombshell on UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall, and the MMA world is absolutely buzzing. Cortez Acosta's incredible victory over Aspinall's training partner, Ante Delija, and why this Dominican fighter is calling out the champ in the most controversial way possible.
Yeah, no, of course.
Cortez Acosta, big right hand.
To understand why this call-out is so significant, we need to go back to UFC Vegas 110 on November 2nd. This was the night that changed everything for Waldo Salsa Boy Cortez Acosta. Cortez Acosta was facing Ante Delija, a Croatian heavyweight who happens to be Tom Aspinall's training partner. Now, here's where things get wild. During the first round, Delija landed a series of punches on Cortez Acosta that went unanswered, and the referee initially stopped the fight. But wait, the replay revealed something crucial. Cortez Acosta had been poked in the eye by Delija. The fight was restarted, giving Waldo time to recover. And here's what makes this story incredible. Despite his vision getting progressively worse, Cortez Acosta came back and knocked out Delija in the first round, earning himself a Performance of the Night bonus. In the post-fight press conference, Cortez Acosta revealed just how bad the eye injury was. He said, and I quote, "The eye was getting worse and worse. The emotions, the hunger, it pushed me on to still continue fighting. I never feel like I'll stop the fight for a poke in the eye."
But I never feel stop the fight for the poke in the eye. The eye is getting worse and worse. The happening is the emotionated, my hungry, it pushed me up still continue fight.
Now, let's talk about why this matters in relation to Tom Aspinall. Just a month earlier at UFC 321 in October, Aspinall was fighting Ciryl Gane. During the first round, Gane accidentally poked Aspinall in both eyes. The fight was stopped and Aspinall was unable to continue, resulting in a no contest.
Looks like an eye poke there is gone. Had the fingers open. Give me a claw. Yeah, sort of dug in there.
Last one.
You give it just a moment. You tell me if you can see. If not, then we'll stop this. Tell me. Tingle right in my eyeball. Hey, Tom. How are we? Right now. Can see you, mate. Okay. Jason knows how to play this fight.
This decision immediately sparked massive debate in the MMA community. Some fans questioned whether Aspinall quit too easily. Others defended him, saying the injury was legitimate and continuing would have been dangerous. The controversy hasn't died down since, so picture this. Waldo Cortez Acosta just fought through an eye poke against Tom Aspinall's own training partner, continued despite losing vision, and knocked him out. Meanwhile, Aspinall couldn't continue after his eye poke. Do you see where this is going?
And we saw it with Neil Magny and Jake Matthews in Perth. Mark Ratner joins us. Mark, what is going on right now?
It's an inadvertent eye poke.
Immediately after defeating Delia, Cortez Acosta didn't waste a single second. He called out the heavyweight champion in the most direct way possible, essentially suggesting that Aspinall's eye poke was exaggerated while his own injury was real but manageable. But the story doesn't end there. Just 3 weeks later, Cortez Acosta pulled off one of the most insane feats in recent UFC history. He accepted a fight at UFC Qatar on just 3 days' notice, replacing Sergey Spivak against Shamil Gaziev. Let me paint this picture for you. Waldo took an 18-hour flight across the globe to Qatar,
Okay, let's take a look. Oh. Yeah.
Hey, yo! 12 pounds in a single day, weighed in at 265 pounds just moments after landing, and then stepped into the octagon against a dangerous opponent. This is his 5th fight of 2025. And what happened? Cortez Acosta knocked out Gaziev in just 82 seconds of the first round. It was absolutely brutal, and it solidified Salsa Boy as one of the toughest fighters in the heavyweight division.
Right? Here's the exchange up against the fence. Misses that left hook. Almost, it was a jab basically from Cortez Acosta. Had Gaziev all sorts of hurt. Looking for the ground and pound. Ultimately, Gaziev gets back up to his feet. And let's see here. Big straight right. Oh, right over the top. Not quite an overhand, but leans off to the left, gets his head off the center line, and crushes this straight right. Bang! Right on the jaw of Gaziev.
Here's where it gets even more interesting. During the post-fight celebration, Cortez Acosta wore an eye patch over the same eye that had been injured weeks earlier. This wasn't just a medical necessity. It was a direct message to Tom Aspinall. Remember, Jon Jones had mocked Aspinall by adding an eye patch to his social media avatar after UFC 321. Waldo was clearly joining in on the trolling.
Oh, you got a monster vehicle. You got big sexy. You got table season. Oh, man. Put me on the spot. I got big A's, dog. We're going to get a big. There it is. Platinum Light Perry. Whoa. What's up, bro? Whoa, we got a horse. But I can't see you medium high. We got a goat race of all time.
So why is Waldo Cortez Acosta so focused on Tom Aspinall? He actually gave 3 specific reasons in his interviews, and they're pretty compelling. First, and most obvious, Tom Aspinall is the UFC heavyweight champion. Cortez Acosta wants that belt, plain and simple. He earned his shot with an incredible 4-1 record in 2025 alone, including multiple knockout victories. Second, and this is the controversial part, Cortez Acosta believes Aspinall quit because of the eye poke at UFC 321. In his words, it's because of him being a champion, and he quit because of a poke in the eye. Waldo sees this as a weakness, especially since he himself continued fighting after being poked by Delia. Third, Cortez Acosta knocked out Delia, who Aspinall speaks very highly of as one of his best training partners. Waldo's logic is simple. If he can knock out Aspinall's training partner in the first round, what would happen if they actually fought? He said it himself. I do him like knock him out in the first round. What would happen if me and Tom Aspinall fight?
Were you just calling him out as you felt like you wanted to get that shot, or were you calling him out because you were able to continue from the eye poke?
Yeah, it's like that. It's for the him to be a champion, and the hand quick because the pocket the eye too, and the third too because the hand is the training partner, and I do it with him like a knock him out in the first round. Why is it happening that me and Tom Aspinall fight? Because he say Tom Aspinall, this is the one that does the best training partner. He can have it. What happened? Tom Aspinall fighting with Waldo Cortez.
During his UFC Qatar post-fight interview, Cortez Acosta looked directly at the camera and said, "Hey Tom Aspinall, I told you I'm going for you. You see what I do? I want to break your head like that. Like what me doing today?"
I wanted the bell. Hey, Tom Aspinall, I told you, I go for you, you know? You see me today, what me do? I want to break your head like that, like what me doing today.
Congratulations on another win. Your winner, ladies and gentlemen, Waldo Cortez Acosta.
So where does this leave Waldo Cortez Acosta? Right now, he's not even ranked in the heavyweight top 15, which makes this call-out even bolder. But his recent performances, especially that UFC Qatar knockout on 3 days' notice, have absolutely put him on the map. And here's something wild. Cortez Acosta isn't done. He's calling for another fight in December, which would be his 6th fight of the year. At the post-fight interview, he said, "I want to finish this year for one more fight. I want to fight next month, December 13th. This man is absolutely relentless.
I want to finish it this year for one more fight. This is too quick. I want to fight next month if the guy can permit it, December 13th.
Now, realistically, Tom Aspinall is expected to run back his fight with Ciryl Gane, likely in January 2025. That's the fight everyone wants to see finished properly without the eye poke controversy. After that, though, the heavyweight division needs a clear #1 contender. Could Waldo Cortez Acosta be that contender? If he keeps up this insane activity level and continues scoring knockout victories, it's hard to ignore him. He defeated Aspinall's training partner, fought through the same type of injury that stopped Aspinall, and showed incredible toughness by taking fights on short notice against dangerous opponents.
Yeah, no, of course.
Cortez Acosta, big right hand.
I feel as Tom's a great athlete, but I do feel like he's a one-trick pony.
When you look at people talking shit online, you know, he's ducking this guy or he's dodging this guy, they haven't seen the work that you've done in the past and how dominant you've been. We know you're not ducking this guy. I mean, talk to me about what you saw in his fight with Gane. I mean, because Gane looked like he was controlling the fight.
Was Ciryl Gane?
Yeah.
I believe that his wrestling and jiu-jitsu is incredibly overrated. He has a beautiful 1-2. I got to learn a lot about his patterns in his last fight. Beautiful 1-2. That's really about it. He couldn't touch Ciryl Gane at all. That's the way I felt. I felt like Gane was just getting warmed up. Gane's hands was down. He's shaking his shoulders, bouncing around.
He was touching him.
That jab.
He busted him open. I think Tom was looking for a way out, and he took it. He needs to change his game plan.
When Tom gets hurt, he's like immediately incapacitated.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he poked my eye, and then he's like immediately. There was no like
trying. He didn't try.
Trying. Same thing with Curtis Blaze. When he hurt his knee, there was no limping. There was no trying to get up. It was just like immediately.
Yep.
Burn my village. I can't go on. Immediately quit.
All right, so Jon Jones is back at it. He is calling Tom Aspinall overrated, calling him a quitter, saying that he is very, very simple. He's basic. The man's a quitter. Look at Ciryl Gane, right? He was just getting comfortable.
Tom's a great athlete, but I do feel like he's a one-trick pony. I believe that his wrestling and jiu-jitsu is incredibly overrated.
We all know why he's saying this. Obviously, UFC 321, Tom Aspinall got poked in the eye. We've been over this many, many times, so I won't repeat it. Incidentally, Ciryl Gane is back in the gym. He's training again. He's hitting the pads. He's working. So does that mean that we might have news of a rematch pretty soon between Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane? I, for one, certainly hope so.
A few moments later.
He's at home. He's recovering. And as soon as he's able to fight again, we'll book the rematch.
Jon Jones just dropped the most brutal bombshell on Tom Aspinall that may just end his career. The former 2-division champion is not holding back anymore, folks. Jones just called Aspinall an average fighter who quit after one little eye poke.
Tom Aspinall's title fight against Ciryl Gane ended with a bit of a letdown after being ruled a no contest when Aspinall was unable to continue after what is certainly one of the worst looking, not single, but double eye pokes I've seen in the sport.
The best part about fouling, right, is that it works. So the best thing you can do is like keep your head in your game, and I'll do everything I can to manage it.
All that training for that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Gonna be okay, mate.
What is he doing?
The left one was really deep.
Both up.
The left one was really
Both
deep.
up.
Yeah,
So
sorry,
you got
but
one twice before it.
Yeah,
Twice before you got one for it.
Mike Bisping, he lost his eye. It's just a horrendous thing to think as a parent, really. And I know what it's like these days with people saying what they want, but if it's just your son and they could lose an eye and their health and they've got children to look after.
And that's not even half of it. Jones is trolling Aspinall like never before. We're talking horses with eye patches, duck profile pictures, and some of the most savage takedowns we've ever seen in MMA trash talk history. All right, let's get straight into what Jon Jones just said, because this is brutal. On the No Scripts podcast, Jones didn't just criticize Tom Aspinall, he absolutely dismantled him. And I'm talking about career-threatening allegations here.
I feel as Tom's a great athlete, but I do feel like he's a one-trick pony.
Talk to me about what you saw in his fight with Gane. I mean, because Gane looked like he was controlling the fight.
With Ciryl Gane?
Yeah.
I believe that his wrestling and jiu-jitsu is incredibly overrated. He has a beautiful 1-2. I got to learn a lot about his patterns in his last fight. Beautiful 1-2. That's really about it. He couldn't touch Ciryl Gane at all. That's the way I felt. I felt like Gane was just getting warmed up. Gane's hands was down. He was shaking his shoulders, bouncing around.
He was touching him.
That jab
He busted him open. I think Tom was looking for a way out, and he took it. He needs to change his game plan.
Jones's main claim, that Aspinall immediately quits when things get tough. Here's exactly what he said. When Tom gets hurt, he's immediately incapacitated. Immediately. It's like you poke my eye. There was no like trying to blink it out. I would have been the silliest looking cat on national TV trying to continue.
He couldn't touch Ciryl Gane at all. That's the way I felt. I felt like Gane was just getting warmed up. Gane's hands was down. He was shaking his shoulders, bouncing around.
He was touching him. He was touching him.
That jab too
was
was
so
money.
He busted him open.
He was so comfortable.
I think Tom was looking for a way out, and he took it. He needs to change his game plan.
Man, Tom, when Tom gets hurt, it's like he's like immediately incapacitated.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately.
He shut down.
It's like you poke my eye and then he's like immediately. There's no like.
He never tried to look. It was rag on the eye immediately.
Dude, I would have been the silliest looking cat on national TV just
trying. He didn't try.
Trying.
He didn't try.
Same thing with Curtis Blaze. When he hurt his knee, there was no limping. There was no trying to get up. It was just like immediately.
Yep.
Burn my village. I can't go on. Like,
he doesn't have the dog in him. Yeah, that killer to be killed.
Immediately quits.
Yeah.
When he got tapped out with an ankle lock, there was no trying to fight his hands. There were no trying to. He immediately quit.
But Jones didn't stop there. He brought up multiple examples to back up his claim. First, the Curtis Blades fight from 2022, where Aspinall tore his ACL just 15 seconds in. Jones said there was no limping, no trying to get up, just immediate surrender.
No, looking for Megan. It's paying off now. Massive shots. Hammer fist. Straight hand. As you said, he's waiting for the opportunity. It was the up kick came. And now Austin looking for the leg. Oh! Big heel hook attack from him. He done it! Austin has done it! What a pitch! Austin has done it!
Then he went even further back to Aspinall's first professional loss in 2015 when he tapped to an ankle lock. Jones claimed there was no trying to fight the hands, no resistance, just an immediate tap. Jones's conclusion, he immediately quits. Immediately.
When Tom gets hurt, he's like immediately incapacitated.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you poke my eye and then he's like immediately, there's no like.
Trying. He didn't try.
Trying. Same thing with Curtis Blaze. When he hurt his knee, there was no limping. There was no trying to get up. It was just like immediately.
Yep.
Burn my village. I can't go on. Immediately quit.
This is massive because Jones is essentially questioning Aspinall's heart, his toughness, his warrior spirit, everything that defines a champion in this sport. But Jones wasn't done destroying Aspinall's reputation. He then moved on to break down his actual fighting skills, and this might be even more devastating. Jones called Aspinall a one-trick pony and said his wrestling and jiu-jitsu are incredibly overrated.
What did you think of the last UFC main event?
I think it's two quick guys. I think it's two guys that are really great. Tom Aspinall is a fast fighter. He's got a good 1-2. He's got a good 3-2, as you could tell. Just didn't really mix it up against Ciryl. When I watched Ciryl against Jon, Jon went out there and put pressure on him, made him get on his heels. I think there's a lot of pop in Ciryl Gane's step, and I think he was confident going into this match. And he looked great. He looked great. The jab was flowing.
I think Ciryl Gane definitely won that round.
It was a fight Tom
sure.
looked like he was fading real early in.
The spins, I didn't like those
Yeah,
spins.
a lot of people talk about Tom Aspinall like, oh, Jon Jones is afraid of this guy. And I'll tell you right now, man, I don't think Jon Jones is afraid of anybody.
Did you see how he changed his picture? The duck with
Oh,
the patch?
yeah, with the eye
He
patch.
put it over the
He's
left
the
eye.
best troll. He's the best troll, man, I swear.
It's fun to be close to someone that has that power to do so. But cool main event. The way it ended, sad. But shit happens. What can you say? I mean, you would hope for the big punch. You would hope for the decision. But man, you know, eye poke may be the next best thing for Tom. I'm not sure.
Let that sink in for a second. The greatest fighter of all time just said the current heavyweight champion's grappling skills are overrated. Here's Jones's technical breakdown of what he saw against Ciryl Gane.